Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're watching us from. You may be in the US, UK, wherever you are. And I hope you're doing well. I hope your afternoon is going well. If you're in Kenya, good evening. I hope it's not too cold right there. And if it is, please keep warm. So nice to see you guys. And our first live ever. And guess what we're talking about? We're talking about, the experiences and challenges of Kenyan domestic workers in the Gulf and Middle East countries. And as you're aware, I've been hosting Globe Traction for some time now. And I must tell you that I've really witnessed a lot, interacting with people who've gone through all this trauma. And even as I shared stories, I thought I never shared enough stories because there is so much of untold stories behind the scenes and even away from people that you don't know, people that you may be related to, people that you meet, your friends. And today we thought it was very important for us to have this discussion because why? The cost of living is gone high. Kenyans are looking at better ways to survive, exist, make themselves useful, but again, still have dignity as human beings. So welcome to our topic of discussion. And I'm so privileged tonight to share, this platform with Faith Murunga, an ex-domestic worker who went to Middle East, and she will share with us her own ordeal from what transpired to what it is that she can advise those people who are still planning to go there, to many other experiences. So welcome to the show, Faith. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. I hope everyone is doing okay. My name is Faith Shimela Murunga. I'm a survivor of human trafficking to Saudi. And all I can say is I'm lucky to come back alive, and I thank God for my life. And I'm here to share my life experience and how I've been doing since I came back and what I'm doing right now.
I'm seeing you're very healthy. I don't want to talk about, how it was while you're there, but for sure you will agree with me that you're not looking so good and so well. So tell me, first of all, Faith, people might have heard about your story, but what got you to go to the Middle East? Let's start from there, very quick.
Okay, I think everyone knows that I'm a mother for right now. What makes me go to Saudi Arabia, it's my kids, because I was looking for something to maybe to make my life better with my kids. So that's what pushed me to go in Middle East. I wanted to change my life, and I didn't have the opportunity to work here in Kenya because maybe because of my school level, I don't know best, but I was lucky to get the chance and I went, but it was not a good experience for me.
Yeah, talking about good experience, that is quite relative. Tell me, because we aired your story back then in last year, if I remember too well, and you are telling me of how you were burnt by
Yeah.
your previous employer, but that is
Yes.
not all. Just fill me in quick on how everything transpired, please.
Okay, for now, since you interviewed me, I was lucky to get in touch with one girl from Chicago, and who connected me, who talked to me about the work they want to do here in Kenya, and I was lucky to be one of them. So right now I'm working with an organization called Global Justice, and Global Justice is an organization from Chicago, USA. It was started in 2005, and the mission of Global Justice is to advance the right to remedy and repatriation for all victims of violation of human rights and law. And we are the right people. I think we are the right people. They must be remedied. This means that if a right is violated, the victim must be able to get access justice and obtain a remedy. The organization is a tool for survivor to access and justice. International
So, so,
crime.
so, so, so perhaps just to cut you short,
Okay.
I'm seeing some of our viewers online saying they might not have gotten to see this story. So I'll just ask so
Okay,
that we can have your story to be played.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
let us just watch Faith's story as it
okay.
was aired on KTN News back then. So just hold on that thought, Faith. We'll pick it up from there.
Thank you.
Nilisikia stori ya kwamba watu wanaenda Saudi, wengine wanatoka huko wamekufa. Mimi ndani mwangu nilitoka hapa nikiwa ninajua kuna Mungu anaishi atanipigania. Aim yangu ni kwenda kutafuta.
Saudi Arabia, going there, it's like you're signing your own death. So alishika hiyo kettle heater na kanimwagia hiyo maji. Unajua asubuhi nilikuwa bado nimegongwa. Huyu mzee amezoea kunichapa kwa hiyo nyumba. Amenigonga, ameniabuse. Wakati alinichoma hiyo mkono, I just flash back of my life. Nikauliza Mungu, why always me? Because nimeteseka kuanzia utoto yangu yote. Nimetafuta usaidizi yote, mahali popote nimeshindikana. Hiyo embassy nimepiga simu. Juma ameniongelesha madharau. Kaniambia Fei, baba anataka useme umejichoma. There is no need that mtu ametoka hapa anaenda kuleta msichana mmoja kutoka Saudi. There is no need. There is so many girls out there. So many girls in deportation area. Wameachwa deportation center. Wameachwa huko. Wako Sakani. So 1,000 of them.
Mine was just a tip of the iceberg. Watu wanateseka huko. People are suffering there. My friends are suffering there. People there are mentally tortured, psychologically tortured, and it's not fair.
Yes, so for the viewers who had not had a glimpse of what we aired last year, that was a piece that we aired from a Kenyan domestic worker by the name Faith MURUNGA. And as you can see, the clip is quite, not a good clip to watch, especially if you have a daughter, if you have a sister, family, basically as a human being. That was, so much, a teary piece to do for me. And Faith, as we talk about these things, every day we speak about these things. And as I keep saying, we do those stories, but they just never come to an end, because even as we do them every day, there's somebody also boarding that flight, and destination is the Gulf country or Saudi Arabia or Iraq and those other places. What do you have to say about this continuous, cycle?
Okay, on my side, I think people will continue going there. But it's the government opportunity, or the chance for our government to protect our girls who are going out there. It's not our mandate, it's their mandate for the government. Because the other day I heard that when Alfred Mutua was saying that agent goes from the street and take the girls, recruit the girls and take them to Gulf. I want to correct Alfred Mutua. There is no one who comes from the street and goes to Middle East. Everybody who's gone in Middle East anatokanga kwao, ama anatoka kwa boma ya mtu anaenda mahali kufanya kazi. And it's for you government to take that mandate to protect your migrant worker when they are working there. By the end of the day, they are your Kenyan's daughter and they are your Kenyan's sons. So,
now that you brought the issue, okay. Now that you brought the issue about the government, Faith, I'm sorry again to cut you short, because when you talk about him talking about that issue, I think this is what he had to say. Do you have the video of the CS, Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, speaking? Dr. Alfred Mutua, please.
We have over 200,000
Let us just hear
people in Saudi Arabia, and a lot of those people are doctors, are nurses, are teachers, are engineers, are hospitality workers. There are people in various fields, but the problem you are hearing was not of all those people who are making tons of money and sending back to Kenya, was of domestic workers. Yes. And the problem is not about Saudi Arabia, it was the way they are recruited here, because it's very lucrative. You go and pick somebody from the street, I'll take you to Saudi Arabia. You don't train them about culture. You don't train them about what they're going to do. When you get them there, some of them, you get them out so they can become, for lack of a good word, prostitutes, prostituting themselves because they can get 5-10 times the amount of money. They're out of status. They go into hiding from immigration. When they go to a hospital, They'll be arrested and deported back. They'll be treated and taken back to Kenya, because no person goes to a hospital in Saudi Arabia and is not treated. You will not hear of a Kenyan said, nilienda hospitali na kufa wako ni tribu. They will treat you.
They stick around with their passports.
Yeah, no, nobody sticks around with their passports. No. You see, the agencies, you see, there's a problem. There has been agents who are mostly made up of Kenyans.
So what is the
So the Ministry of Labor, that licenses these agents has done a review, has been kicking them out, and we've listed now agencies that people can deal with. Because before it was nobody was caring. You know what I mean? Ilikuwa tu hivyo.
That's it. Did you hear his remarks?
Yeah.
Alisema hakuna mtu ameenda hospitali Saudi Arabia akakosa kutritiwa. Did you ever go to the hospital, Faith?
Okay, I went to hospital but through Red Cross help. And I want to disagree with Bwana Alfred Mutua. The domestic worker are the hardest people. And if you see that the domestic worker ametoroka kutoka kwa contract, ameenda, ameitisha usaidizi na hakuna usaidizi, and this person is protecting his or her life, what do you expect this person to do? You should not just sit there and wait for kwa kifo ikungoje ikupate hapo kwa contract. You have to save your life. And it's not all about we are rude, we don't want to work, we just went there, and then our main mafikirio ni kutoroka kutoka kwa contract tuende ufanye kazi. Mtu unatoroka kwa you have asked for the help here in Kenya, but your own government, your own people from home, from the agent, from the embassy, from the agents from the other side, they have neglected you, and there's no way, you have no other option than to run away to save your life. So don't blame them. It's you government, you're supposed to protect our girls. If someone calls you and needs help, please do what is possible and bring that person back before you start like blaming everyone. Like ni kama mchezo ya paka na panya. We are not paka na panya. It's upon to you government, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kenyan embassy who are working in Saudi, clerks there for Kenyans. Please just wake up and do your work. Stop this blaming issue. You have to protect us. It's not all of them. At least when you come back and tell us that this is what happened, and we have managed to rescue a number of these girls because of A, B, C, D, we will reduce the number of deaths who are coming from Saudi, from Middle East.
Now that so we talked about all of that, Faith, just hold on a little bit. I'd love to hear on how your contract was, because Dr. Mutua was categorical in saying some of these contracts from the agents are quite lucrative. So some of you guys or some of you girls don't know what it is that you're signing. You don't know what you're getting into until you land there, and then your agent just, So tell me about how specifically your contract was drafted.
Okay, it started like a joke. I can say it started like a joke when we signed. I never signed my contract, first of all. I never signed my contract. And I never saw my contract until I reached on the airport at JKIA. Because this agent...
But how else would you know what you're getting yourself into?
It's just a job opportunity. Someone comes and tell you that you need a job, and then you agree for it. Of course, if you want to go to Dubai, in another country, you have to pay. But Saudi, it's free of charge. So that is the opportunity. Maybe it's inatuchanganya hapo akili because it's a free thing. So you don't have so many questions. But we need to educate our girls. Don't go anywhere before signing any contract. Don't come in any agreement before you leave your country. You have a right to know what you're signing for and what you are going to work for. For me, it was really totally different. I was given my contract at the airport, and I read through my contract paper, And what I did the photocopy and I left some with my husband back at home. But when I go through to my contract, everything was well okay. The money was 900 SR, and that is equivalent to 23 to 24,000 Kenyan money.
Yeah.
Working hour was there. What I was going to do was inside there. Who was my employee was there inside the contract. My destination was inside there. But believe me, when I reached the other side, everything was totally different. It was started with this destination. I was
Tell
supposed,
me about it.
my destination was supposed to be Damam. But from Damam to Arar, that's very far. It's almost 12 hours in a day traveling.
Yeah.
So when I reached at the other side, my passport was taken away from me.
And
That
you
is the
just
first
had
point.
you had what the CS was telling us about
Yeah.
the passport.
Mhm.
So what
Yes.
is it that we are not getting right? Where is the problem? Who will answer all these questions? Because we need to agree. What is it that happens when we are not, when these families are not taking care of these girls?
Okay, what they need to do when they are signing the bilateral agreement, at least they should take migrant returnees like us to tell them what others are facing when they reach on their side. To
You
tell
mean
their
public
people.
participation, right?
Yes, to tell their people, when this girl reach this side, don't take their document away from them, because this is their right to remain with their document. That is my identity. So if you take away my identity, that means you have taken away my freedom, my everything. So I don't have a right even to my own body. So they should also educate them when they are signing their agreement, their bilateral agreement. When they are making any decision to any worker in Middle East, at least they should go and consider us. Unajua hao tu wanajibebanga hao wenyewe, wanaenda wanasign, and they don't know the problem we are facing. Do they have anyone in their bilateral agreement like a returnee who can sign that thing, so that in case of anything, we will blame Faith. Faith, you are here, you sign this thing, and you know everything that goes the other side. You could not sign, you could say, no, I'm not signing this bilateral agreement, not unless this and this and this you are going to change. If we sign the bilateral agreement, is there anyone who is following up whatever we have signed inatiliwa manani? Is there anyone who is following up our girls wale ambao wameenda Saudi kwa njia halali, wanateswa ama wako salama? Hakuna. You only receive the reports of, oh, mimi nateswa, oh, mimi nimeuliwa, oh, my daughter went and died. Oh, by the end of the day, this daughter went there and he was the family breadwinner. And this person, she's dead. Does the government do the follow-up to the family of this victim? Does government can come out and tell us our Kenyan girls wale ambao tumepeleka na wale ambao walikufa, and this is the number, and we have been able to compensate the victim who have died in Middle East? Can they come and tell us that? There is no one.
Now that you're talking about that, I'd like to take you back a little bit, Faith. And I hope you have energy, because tonight I need to find out everything about this whole thing. Due to Mechoka, honestly speaking, Tumechoka, and it's not just about me, it's not just about journalists, it's not just about, even your families are tired of, there's a body that has been, found. One of your daughter is not okay, so you need to repatriate the body back home. People are tired of this Saudi and, Iraq and Gulf stories. And I'm listening to you say that you go there for free. How do you board a plane to go to a country that you don't know and you haven't paid anything? How does that work? And for your case, you're telling me you hadn't signed an agreement. What is it? Tell me about it. Where do you even get the courage?
If I want to sue my agency, I can sue them. If I want to sue the government of Kenya, I can sue them. And ask me why. Because everything that they give me, or my contract, the form of bond, come from Kenya. And they have that sign that between the government of Kenya and the agency, they have that bond, which means my agency here, yeye ndio bosi wangu, si hule wa uko. So if I have to follow anyone, if I have to sue anyone, I will sue my Kenyan agency here. Why did you give me the signed document, the signed contract? You never give me those papers to sign. You should tell me here is where you need to sign so that I sign my contract ndio nitoke Kenya. But by the end of the day, yes, I went without signing my contract. But where did I get my passport from? It's from the government of Kenya. Minister of Foreign Affairs, they knew about it. I was going to work. And if I'm going to work, why are you giving me a 90 days visa? Why are you giving that a 90 days visa and I'm going to work? You should give me a working permit visa for 2 years.
Oh, so that's
Yes.
what they gave you?
Yes. And
so you go there for 3 months because 90 days equivalent of that?
Yes. And what happened is this agent, the other side, my employee, the other side, had paid money for all that process. When I reached the other side and after 3 months, there's no way I can come back. I'm now a slave, a really slave. When you want to
Because
come
your
back,
3 months has expired.
I paid a lot of money. Exactly.
So then
you
what
can't
do you
come
do?
back.
That means you have to hide from, the government or something?
You have to hide from everyone. You are enemy of the state. You are the enemy of the government of Saudi. You are the enemy of anyone around you there at that moment. Because
Did you question your visa, Faith, in your case? Did you question your visa? Because if you're given a 90-day visa and you're staying there for more than 90 days, what is it that you do?
Okay, for now, at least the education now I've get from other organization. Now I know if you give me 90 days visas, I have to ask you, why are you giving me a 90-day visa and I'm going to work? But I pity the innocent ones who are going there without knowing that they are going with 90 days visas. After 3 months, the things will change. And you will need to come back, and there is no way you can come back until you finish the 2 years contract. And if you want to come back home, you have to pay the money that your employee paid your agent here in Kenya to do all the process for you to go in Saudi to work for that person. In shortcut, they buy you or they bought you. In shortcut. Yeah, you have no shortcut, you have to finish your contract. And if you don't want to finish your contract and maybe you have tried to call the Kenyan embassy, you want to come back and this is what you are facing, your daily challenges in that house and they don't want to help you, you don't have any other choice. There is good Kenyan out there who are ready to help others. You can run away and go outside and work for a period you want to work for, and then you come back. But there is also risky for working without any document, because if you get sick, there is no medication when you don't have
How do you get
IKAMA.
treated? Yeah.
You can't get treated when you don't have IKAMA.
So now that we are talking about that, I think I'd like us to play a clip of one of our Kenyan domestic workers who went to the Middle East country and the Gulf by the name Lillian Changara. We aired her story sometime last year to us thereabout. And I'd like you to get the picture on the ground as it was. And what is it that we can do? Perhaps you can just play Lillian Changara's story. And Faith, just hold the thoughts. We'll be coming back to you. And anyone who is joining us live, follow the link and join. Make sure your camera is on. Let's have this discussion.
Nilisikia story ya kwamba watu wanaenda Saudi, wengine wanatoka huko wamekufa. Mimi ndani mwangu nilitoka hapa nikiwa ninajua kuna Mungu anaishi atanipigania. Aim yangu ni kwenda kutafuta riziki kwa ajili ya watoto ambao niko nao. Mambo yalianza tu polepole, mguu nafura, inakuja inapoa, inafura, inakuja inapoa. Nikakuja nikaelezea mama wa nyumba, nikamwambia ninaona hii shida inazidi, akaniambia nisiwahi mwambie tena mambo na shida zangu, nimemletea hasara kwa nyumba yake. Lakini ndani mwangu nikakuwa tu ni mtu wa kuomba Mungu. Nikaona mzee naye anakoroga hiyo sufuria, akiniangalia, nikashindwa, Mungu ni nini inaendelea? Nilipokula ya kwanza, ya pili, ya tatu, nikaanza kufeel tu naisiwa na nguvu. Niliamka mahali pale, after I just felt a voice in me, I've strengthened you, my daughter, stand up. And that's how I got up. Lakini nilikuwa nimewezwa kabisa.
Wow. That was Lillian Changara's story. And Faith, you can relate, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, like I was saying, there are people who are joining us online through the link. Please feel free to put your cameras on. And if you're currently in Saudi, currently in the Gulf, let us know. However, if you're in Kenya, let us know. And if you are even another worker, perhaps, you know, a teacher, a doctor in those Gulf countries, you know, we'll be happy to hear from you on how everything is going around for you. However, let's talk about as a domestic worker. You know, do you feel like you're protected, you know, by the government of Kenya? And Faith, you're my guest, so please pick it up.
Okay, I don't feel when you go to work outside the country, you need to feel protected by your country, by your laws of your Kenya, where you belong. But for domestic worker, especially in the Middle East, we are not protected. Let us call a spade. We are not protected at all. As much as I can see the Minister of Foreign Affairs coming up on social media telling us, oh, we have done this, we have done this, we have done that. But I can say for 100%, it's like 30%. So the rest, you are not doing much. We need to see you doing much. We need to see you stepping up. We need to see you working tirelessly. We need to see you doing something. We need to feel like, yes, our government, they are there for us. If you touch us, you know our government, they will have to hunt you. So as much as we are working there, we are not protected. It's between you and your God. Maybe your family. But apart from that, you are not protected by your government. After 3 months, even if you can say that maybe I am protected by my government, why does it that when somebody die in Middle East, the family have to kugaramia the process to repatriate the body to come back home? Where is the government if I'm protected by my government? After coming back home, when I'm in that casket, does the government knows that I'm back home? Does the government knows that I left my kids home because this is why I went there and nimekuja nikiwa kwa sanduku? Does the government take care of my kids? No. Apart from, I've seen my Kosongo doing a lot of work to victim of Saudi, Middle East. I've seen my Kosongo stepping up a lot. So where is the government? The government is supposed to step up for us, for domestic worker. By the end of the day, we are the one who are doing a lot of work. We are the one, wale ambayo tunatuma pesa nyumbani na tunaongeza economy ya Kenya inakuwa juu. If you can do your research, we are the pillar of our families. So kindly, as Minister of Foreign Affairs and Bwana Alfred Mutua, I know you are father, you are brother, you are son to someone, and you are uncle to someone. So you will not love to see your cousin or your auntie or your sisters, whatever, go through whatever we are going through. Just come out and tell these people, what you are doing to my people, it's not right. We need to go back to the table and see what we can do and what we want. And this is what we want. If you kill my cousin,
I can see online we have someone by the name Dr. Martin Olo. I think if you're present, Dr. Martin Olo, and you can hear me, would you like to contribute perhaps from a different perspective as a parent, as a brother, as a family member? What do you have to say about the plight of domestic workers that go to look for greener pastures in the Gulf and Middle East countries? Just tilt your camera so that we can see your face a little bit, if that's okay, please. And welcome to Globe Traction Evening Edition. Can you hear us, Daktari?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, karibu sana. It's so nice to have a father figure, on the show. And from where we're looking at you as a father to somebody, a brother, a sister, and all of that. So what are your insights when it comes to what it is that we are talking about tonight?
I think I have really understood and perhaps also gotten a sense of what my good lady is talking about. I'm sorry I missed her name, but because I found her already talking.
Faith is her name.
Faith, okay. Yeah. I've understood what Faith is saying, and I am totally in agreement with her. As a people, we know that we cannot provide enough employment for all our graduates, our working class, the people who need work cannot all get work here. So some people inevitably have to go out there. And the UAE and other countries and, some of these, Middle East countries are important in that respect because they are giving our people an opportunity. However, their work culture and their attitude and the way they value, let me be straight, the Black people is suspect. And for that reason, we have known cases where our young people have been mistreated, our good girls have been abused, and a form of kind of a slavery. I don't think there's any better way of saying it. It is slavery. When you're looking at human beings and you are not giving them dignity and you are disrespecting them and you are not allowing them to live a life worthy of a human being, that is slavery. And to that extent, we have responsibility as a country to engage diplomatically through mutual legal assistance between ourselves and the other countries to ensure that our people who are actually looking for a living and who are contributing very immensely. When you go to countries like Rwanda and other countries, Kenyans that are in those countries are contributing immensely to the service sector. Equally, these Kenyans, Faith included, that are out there are contributing immensely to that economy. For that reason, they need protection. They need to be understood. They need to be respected, and they need to live in dignity. But that's not what is happening. And yet, as a country, our foreign policy is not rising, or our foreign engagement is not rising to give them the protection they want. So I'm absolutely with her when she challenges us as a country, challenges our foreign affairs to rise up to the occasion.
Thank you so much, Dr. Martin Olo, for your sentiments. And perhaps I'll get back to Faith to just draw her attention on what Dr. Alfred Mutua mentioned previously. Dr. Alfred Mutua was categorical to say, we have doctors, we have engineers, we have teachers who go to these countries. Why is it that they don't, come back with the same complaints as you do? Can you let me understand from your perspective? Why is that the case, though?
Okay, from on my side, it's a domestic worker, you work in a house. So by the end of the day, from morning to evening, you are employed there. So there is no way utaniambia mtu mwenye anafanya kazi kwa hospitali, mtu mwenye anafanya kazi kwa mall, mtu mwenye anafanya kazi kwa petrol station, mtu mwenye anafanya kazi kwa government outside ako the same level na msichana wa kazi. It's totally different because by the end of the day, mtu mwenye anafanya kazi kwa hospitali atamaliza shift yake aende penye wamewekewa hostels, anaenda kwa hostels. but mimi naishi na huu mtu kwa nyumba, mimi ndio namuoshea, mimi ndio nampikia, mimi ndio namfanyia kila kitu. Akienda kazini, akirudi, apate nguo yake imeoshwa, apate chai iko kwa meza, apate chakula, watoto, mimi nakaa. So it's really different, it's really difficult, not different, it's really difficult to put these people together, doctor with a domestic worker. Hizo ni vitu mbili haziwezi zikaingiana. That's why you see that domestic worker ndio wanateseka sana, wanakuja with more cases, high cases za nimerepiwa, nimepigwa, nimeuliwa, nimefanywa nini, nimenyimwa mshahara, because huyu mtu hata ni kama government ilimsahau, alitupwa tu huko.
Hakuna protection.
Hakuna protection. But huyu mwenye ameenda kwa hospitali, mwisho wa siku process yake iko very different. And then another thing, process ya daktari na process ya watu wengine, remember they have been given a working permit visa, and for us we have been given a 90 days visa. So you see, hizo ni vitu mbili Dr. Martin haziwezi ni zikapatana. That's why you see we have so many cases za domestic worker ambao wanalia. So if the government can come out clearly, yes, we are going to work as a domestic worker, can you kindly give us a working permit like others, so that in case of anything, our government, they are aware of us. The government can be responsible for whatever will happen to Faith when she's working out there. If I die in the hand of working there, the government will be responsible. As domestic worker, ni ngumu sana government kukuja ati inasaidia msichana wa kazi, maid. We are given respect ndogo sana. We are very low. Ni kama watu hatutambuliki kwa society. In yet, we are the one who are doing a lot of work when we go out there. So if government can come up and tell the agency, tell the Saudi Kingdom, you need to provide the working permit visa, not the 90 days visa for our domestic worker. If you want a domestic worker from Kenya, I think that will be a good step to start with. Stop giving us a 90 days visa, because that is where the problem starting from. After 3 months, just know it's you with your God. But apart from that, inakuanga ni ngumu sana msichana wa nyumba kupata usaidizi kurudi nyumbani. And you see in deportation center, in deportation center, if your boss does not sign your exit, because yeye ndiye akona ni kama yeye ndiye anakuon, inakuwa ni ngumu, lazima ukuje na ile government plea. Government isign, government yako ikubali, wasign ya huko isign ndio ikurelease ukuje. Kama sio hivyo utaishi tu huko 1 year, 2 years, and you can imagine you are in the deportation center 2 years, 1 year, 6 months, and you are the head of the family here back at home. So your kids will end up being chokora. If you have a daughter, you will come back when you find your daughter maybe ako pregnant, or she just give up with life, ameenda akaolewa, and you will find mess. By the end of the day, you will find mess home. So kila kitu naachia government. They should come up with a proper wapange mpango yao vizuri. If they are going to sign the bilateral agreement, they need people like us to give them, to tell them, and to guide them what they need to do. And this, you should sign this, you should not sign this. You need to tell them this, because they are our key. Without them, we are nothing. And if maybe I go out there and you see, yes, una wale wanaendanga wana misbehave, yes. I can't just say that everyone anaendanga anakuwa mzuri. Kuna wale wanaendanga wana misbehave. If somebody misbehave there na kuna sheria ambayo imewekwa, kwa nini huyo mtu asichukuliwe hatua? Because
just hold on there as you talk of kwa nini huyo mtu asichukuliwe hatua. I'd like to come to Dr. Martin, because I know he's a busy guy. He might be wanting to step out and run other errands. Dr. Martin, you've heard what Faith is talking about. She's speaking about a 90-day visa for someone who is going to work, and they're aware in their mind that they'll not be getting back to their country after 90 days elapses. What do you have to say about that?
First of all, let us agree that when you take a 90-day visa, it doesn't give you the opportunity to work. You are actually you are a visitor. And what we need to do is, if our people know they are going to work, then we on this side as a government need to work out a better visa arrangement for them. So a tourist visa for 90 days is not the right way. And as he's saying, and which I'm now saying also, if you have a 90-day visa, it means that before it expires, you should get out of that country. So even for our people, Faith, we need to think about this thing differently. Unajua, when you go there alafu visa imeisha and you have not come back, that person will treat you knowing that if you go out, you'll be arrested. So they will actually be detaining you in their houses and they'll be mistreating you. So we need
have
to
nowhere to complain.
Sorry? Did you say something?
No, I'm saying because you have nowhere to complain, you are now a fugitive.
Absolutely. So we need to also train our people that if you have a 90-day visa, please do not let the visa expire before you come back. Come back and then look for another opportunity of going back. That is the only way your status is improved. But if your 90 days end and you are still there, it means you are there illegally, and therefore you are subject to their law and subject to their tracing. Now, as to whether we should wait until visa time expires, it should be an arrangement between these Kenyans and our government, so that once you get there, the embassy should know where you are, should encourage you, and if it's a question of renewal, they should help you to renew it. I mean, the reason why we have foreign embassies, or we have Kenyans out there in the foreign service, is so that they help our people. Their first primary responsibility is on Kenyans. It's like an American citizen anywhere in the world. The first responsibility of the diplomats is to help those American citizens. So our Kenyan diplomats should also make it their business, particularly to have our people report to them when they come and to know where they are. And once the 90 days are about to elapse, to track them and encourage them either to come back or begin to work on a visa renewal. I think that's an important thing that we should be looking at. So we should be responsible at all points. Government should be responsible. We Kenyans who are going to work should be responsible. And our embassies and our ambassador and our diplomatic officials should equally track and be able to help Kenyans. But for a Kenyan to be detained, to be tortured, and to be violated, their rights to be violated, and sometimes even to be killed, is totally unacceptable. The life of one Kenyan, the life of any Kenyan, it doesn't matter what kind of Kenyan they are, is as important as any other person's life.
So perhaps before we get, I can see there's somebody else who's joined our conversation online, but I'd like to hear, or rather play the clip of one Betty. Betty is also, you know, an ex-Saudi who came over to the country from Iraq, if I'm getting that right. I remember we did Betty's story sometime again last year, before before everything got really messed up. So do you have Betty's clip? Can we just play it so that we can catch up on who is joining us, and then we can pick it up from there? Let's listen.
Maisha ikakuwa ngumu. Kwenda kucomplain kwa huyo baba, siku ngine akaniambia, wait me there, I'm coming, nitakuwa wewe.
I cannot let her return back to my house because I'm afraid about my family.
She's also afraid. She's also afraid about her life. She said you have threatened to kill her.
It's her fault. It's her fault.
That's why you want to kill her?
Sorry?
That's why you want to kill her?
I want to kill her? She's liar. She wants to kill us.
So the office is telling the girl, you have to work, finish your contract.
Yes.
So that we can let you go. The girl is sick. She can't work. So what will happen?
Nililia airport. Nikalia. Nikasema Mungu wangu, hii ni nini? Wakati niliona nimeingia hiyo ndege imefungwa niko ndani, niliomba nikaambia Mungu asante.
Wow. Those are some of the stories we get to do every other day, Dr. Martin, and Faith can attest to that. because she's not the only one. There's so many of those kind of stories. And you wonder, some of these experiences, even after them learning from what happened to the other person, they'll still, take the leap and board those flights and go. From your perspective as a parent, as a brother, what do you have to say about it? What is it that we are not doing, as individuals, as families, and, largely, as a nation?
There are several things that you can say here, Basil. One of them is that our people are desperate. They are desperate for jobs, they are desperate for livelihoods, and they are taking also desperate measures. Now, that desperation needs to be met by some hope, and the hope that they need is from government. Any responsible government in any country will train its people, advise its people, and when they go out, make sure they are able to track to know where they are. For example, any American in this country is likely to have reported in the American embassy, and the American embassy knows where they are and can track them. We in Kenya should be able to also train our people and track them wherever they are, especially now that we know what is happening to them, especially those who are going for domestic work and so on. So that I know that we are also appealing to ourselves as Kenyans to try and make sure that we don't find ourselves in a place of mistreatment. But remember, we are not unique in this, Basil, that despite the fact that there is hardships along the North Africa and Europe, a number of people are dying caught in boats that capsize as they struggle to go on the other side. And even when they get to the other side, they are also, mistreated. So there is a level of desperateness and a level of risk that we take that ought to be mitigated between ourselves and our governments. Remember, our government knows that labor is needed in Saudi Arabia and those Arab countries. All they need to do is to work with the governments on that side to make sure that that is done with dignity and our people are safe. So the role of government is absolutely important, but also we must take individual responsibilities. So those that are finding themselves like Faith, if we know what the problem is, which we now know, that is a visa issue, then we should be working to ensure that if a visa is about to expire, we follow the law. Because as a lawyer, I'll tell you, you're always better off observing the law as opposed to breaking it. Because once you break it, you become a subject of other people. And then for our government, let us work to ensure that domestic workers get at least a 1 year, a 2 year work permit, so that their visas can enable them to stay in those places a little longer. So government has a role. We as individuals have a role, and that the international community ought to make sure that no amount of slavery whatsoever, no amount of violation of human dignity or freedoms of people whatsoever ought to be tolerated. So these countries ought to be sanctioned. They ought to be told they are absolutely out of order. They are defying the UN Convention against on human rights and civil and economic rights. And for that reason, they need to be sanctioned.
They need to be sanctioned. I mean, now, Faith, from your opinion, I think you had Dr. Alfred Mutua's remarks on, do you guys get, to be, taken through the cultures and way of doing things in those countries that you do? Because each country has its own, beliefs and traditions. Are you guys taken through by your agents to be told, these are the things that you're supposed to do, and this is what you're not supposed to do, or this is how you're supposed to behave? Are you guys, taken through all of that?
My answer is yes. That's why there's those training centers. You go to training center for 14 days to teach you the other side cultures. So when we are at the training center, they are always told us that ukifika huko, you are not supposed to wear the trouser, we unavaa nguo full, you are not to walk naked here, you are supposed to cover your hair, you are not supposed to greet the man shaking, like unajua sisi tunapenda shaking hand. So for them, hapana, hii hakuna, you just serve them, you are not supposed to like kuangaliana na mwanaume huko, wewe wamekuitisha chai, peleka chai, toka sitting room, we kazi yako ni kukaa jikoni kuwaserve na kutoka. So all those things they normally teach us. But the other side, that is where the problem is. As much as we are teaching, tumefundishwa hizo vitu zote, tumeambiwa vile inafaa tufanye, tumefuata nini sheria zao vile kunaendanga huko, but for them they don't respect us. 0% respect. If you reach there, you are black, you are slave. Anything that your master told you to do, you have to do. Huyo master akikwambia utang'oa kinyesi na mkono yako hivi, you will do it because he is your master. Remember,
Wow.
you don't have any document with you. So you don't have any right, even hata kama unataka kutoroka, you can't. For those who don't have that courage ya kukimbia, unajua kuna wale wanakuanga roho juu, mimi nitatoka nitaenda. But you want to tell me a person who hajui kujifaitia right yake atatoroka? Hawezi toroka, hawezi sema hapana, hajui kitu kama hiyo. You want to tell me a person mwenye ametoka standard 8 ama ametoka form 4, the innocent one, hawajui kitu yoyote, just a child from Ushago, hajui, ana kierere yoyote. Huyu mtu umemrecruit, ameenda training center 14 days, amepatiwa passport, amepatiwa contract yake kwa airport, amepatiwa, ameenda. This person hajui hata kujiambia no ama yes. Ameenda huko, amemistreatiwa vile ana mistreatiwa. If you want to tell me this person ako na say, the innocent one. I just wish Dr. Martin one day pale nyuma ya archives Odeon, you just come there and just do your supervise. You see the innocent one.
You mean just do a survey, right?
Yeah. You see the innocent one, you will feel like crying in front of people because they are very innocent. Those people, they don't know what is 90 days visas, what is written inside. Even most of them, they don't know how to read, even to write their name. They don't know. Akina wanapelekwa, wanasukumwa kama makondo, wanapelekwa. Sometimes I feel like stopping them and telling them the truth. But I know, ukisimamisha mtu kama huyo, kuna master wake pale nyuma. The next thing mutasikia Faye is missing. So as much as I want to help them, I just watch them going, and I know where they are going, it's not a good place. If only this agent can be good enough, watutafute sisi returnees. There is so many returnees apart from him mwenye sikumaliza contract. You can say Faye kumaliza contract, so she doesn't know what goes on, sijui nini. You can search for those who finished their contract, wamekaa huko for more than 10 years, 5 years, and then they have come back successfully. Waandike kazi hizo training centers, wafundishe hawa wasichana. In case of anything, any emergency, you need to do this. You need to do this. This is the step you need to take. You should not do this. Don't take like pasili mtu akikuchukua kupeleke pale kwa training center na kwambia we ni Kiarabu wameandika, so you will read for them, you write for them. But have you been there? You have not been there. So they need people who have been there to teach those who are going, the innocent one, to save those ones first. At least they be genuine enough. And then to this agent, they know themselves. The genuine one and the fake one, they know themselves. If you know the next agent next to you, he or she is not the genuine one, or si hajafuata nini sheria ya kiserikali, na wewe mwenyewe ni uko na permit yako, you have your license to take this girl outside, and somebody anafanya inaitwa ana blackmail ama inaitwaje, anafanya behind nyuma ya serikali, you have a right to report this person. Huyu mtu anafanya hivi na huyu mtu ndio anatuharibia biashara, because you'll find by the end of the day maybe this agent, they have not even registered under NEA. The government, they don't know about the agent ile inapeleka watu. You come
now how are you able to tell between a fake agent, you know, and a legit agent, Faith. But before you respond to that, I think I have a clip of me having a conversation with your agent, if I remember that too well. Do we have that clip? Are we able to play it so that Faith can hear of how our discussion was going? I know you watched this on TV sometime last year, Faith, but let's just listen in. Wanted you to confirm the allegations because she said she tried contacting your office so that you guys can rescue her from what she was going through, but you did not take any action.
We have contact with the office in Saudi Arabia, and she was lying to all the stories she was talking. And the office called her, they investigated with her.
Yeah.
And when they found there was no reason of her now going back to the same sponsor because the sponsor said she's lying, and they confirmed she's lying, and they bought her ticket to go back to Kenya.
Unasikia vile Ahmed alikuwa anaongea. That was your agent, right?
Yeah, that is my agent. I really love this Mr. Mwezi to come out clearly and tell me how much did you pay for my visa to come back home? Because I remember my coming back ticket was paid by a good Samaritan in US. That is Mr. Midamo, Mike Midamo. Shame on you, Mr. Mwezi, that you are saying that you paid my flight ticket to come back. And second, I tried to reach to this man several times without fear. I can tell you in front of you, I tried to reach to you. I called you 1,000 times to help me to change that house. I told you I was being raped in that house. I told you I was being beaten in that house. I told you they used to deny me food. I used to sleep somewhere where even hata mbwa yai kuko inalala mahali kama hapo. I used to tell this Mr. Mwezi with my broker, Margaret. I used to tell them. My husband worked in Uganda House 2nd floor, where Al Sayar is, tirelessly, night, morning, evening, every day, to change my wife employee, but you never give me a chance to work in another house, of which I knew 100% you could give them a go ahead, wanibadilishe nyumba. Singekuja na mkono yangu kama imechoma, Mr. Mwezi. I can tell you, shame on you to tell the people that ulinilipia ndege. And you are father, you are grown up man, wewe na akili zako unakuja unaambia watu atunilipia ndege. Ndege yangu ililipwa na Mr. Midamo.
So
and
I'm told
and clarify it.
I'm told we need to be finishing up. I'd like us to point out to the issue of passports, you know, and the way, you know, employers, or rather masters, as you girls call them. Sijui kwa nini mnawaitanga masters au Saudi Arabians. But you call them masters. So the issue of how masters confiscate your passports and those kind of things. So there's a clip I think we have from one of our Kenyan girl, and I'd love that do we have her clip to air? Let's listen in if it's available. If it's not, we're just gonna.
Yeah. So yeye ndiye aliwajazia ama ilikuwaje?
Kwa peti sijui mwenye alimjazia, but mimi ni yule alimjazia.
Okay, so akamaliza kujaza alafu unamlipa ama sasa
hakuna kulipa.
Anakupea passport bure.
Passport hawakunipea juu sikuenda. Wako nayo.
Wako na passport yako? Na kwa nini usiende kuitisha, kwa sababu hiyo ni passport yako, it's your document.
Ananiambia niwape 20,000.
20,000, unajua pesa ya apply passport Divina?
4,500.
Do you think it's okay for you to give them 20,000 when the application of a passport is just 4,000 or 5,000?
No.
Wow, Faith, did you hear that?
Yes, I hear that.
that is one girl by the name Divina in Kisii County who almost went to Saudi Arabia, but because she didn't have money and all of those kind of things, I think her passport was confiscated. Can you believe there are people who hold passports that are not theirs in this country?
Yes, they will hold. There's a number of passports which the agency, they are holding them because of why? Boss wako kutoka ile side ingine ametuma pesa, anataka msichana wa kazi. And this month they started processing for your passport. Maybe you didn't have the birth certificate, watakutafutia birth certificate.
Wow.
If maybe you didn't have the document of your mother, wataenda watafanya vile watafanya, because they normally ask you the document of your father and your mother, your birth certificate, hizo vitu zote. Maybe you don't have them, they will do it for you. Now all that money yenye wameweka pamoja and transport, sijui wanakutuma wapi, unaenda huku unakuja huku, all that money wanakuanga wametumiwa. So that's why they can't give you the money, the passport, because wamegharamia. They need you to pay the hizo pesa zote ndio wakupatie your
The
passport.
processing fee and those kind of things.
I think they are too high, because hata ukiweka fare ya kutoka Kisii kuja Nairobi, kwenda DCI, kwenda Huduma Center, kuweka vidole and then to go back, does it cost 20,000?
No,
Does
and
not.
I think that is where the problem is, because of the desperation, many of Kenyans are being duped, you know. So how can we solve this whole problem? How do we deal with this, Faith? Because you are one of the victims. I don't know how it worked out for you, but we need to help other girls to just make sure that they know what it is that, you know, they're getting into.
Okay, and right now I think what I'm coming up with, I'm working with one organization called Global Justice Group. And Global Justice Group, they are here to help us as a returnee and a survivor of human trafficking. They are giving us a voice. They are giving us a platform to seek our justice. So I'm working there right now. I've been able to kujua wale ambao ni wako kwa record yangu. There are almost 200 people victim from Saudi. And I've been managed to document 30 of them, the cases of human trafficking, the violation, raping, nini, hizo vitu zote. I've been managed to record down 30, but 200, I'm still putting them on my data. So maybe at the right time, when the right time comes, I'll come out and tell you what is going there, because this is the number. I have the number. Already I have the number of the victim, and they are still coming in day and night. They're still calling me day and night, putting their record down. I've managed 30 of them, but I'm still going more. I need more, so that the day when I need to get the justice for this victim, at least I have the good evidence. It's not all about me. It's about others. I want to be a voice of those who died in Saudi. I want to be a voice of someone like Lillian, who came back in a wheelchair. I want to be a voice like Faith, who came back paralyzed. I want to be a voice of a girl from MURUNGA who came back on a wheelchair and she can't even move. Her boss did something for her, I don't know what. So I want to be a voice of all.
I mean, those are just the lucky few who came back alive, because I'm aware of so many that came back in caskets.
In my
you know,
list,
so many whose bodies are still lying there.
I have 70 dead, 70 of them dead, and about 100 and something came back with paralyzed, sick, mental torture, raped. Some of them, they came back with kids. I have all those cases. And maybe for a person like me who came back but never, I was raped, I was tortured, and there's that person who came back without paid even a penny. So all that data, I'm putting it down together with Global Justice in assistance of advocates. So some advocates, they're there, they are helping me to do all that. So when the right time comes, maybe you'll be the one to put this thing out, Basil.
Now that you mentioned about this organization, have you been able to get any, further assistance in terms of perhaps get some counseling? Because I know it must be very traumatizing to live each day with, having thoughts of what it is that happened to you.
Okay, for now I can say I'm strong, but not strong. At some point I break down. Even a survivor can come to our office and started to explain to us what she went through. I start to break down. I'm not strong. I got the counseling through the one organization called Heart and Chitea and Rahat Kenya. And I think I'm strong to help others.
I think we'll end our conversation there tonight, Faith. It's been a 1 hour conversation, and I really want to thank you for your time to narrate to us, your experiences. And you've heard what Dr. Martin Olotu has said. I want to thank him. I know he's not online, but he'll follow up with this later. So thank you so much, Dr. Olo, for your time. And thanks so much, Faith, for your time as well. We were to have this conversation with Chep Kemboy. You remember Chep Kemboy, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure we have a video of Chep Kemboy. Do we have Chep Kemboy's video? We may not be having it, but Chep Kemboy was to join us in our discussion tonight, but due to she couldn't make it.
One thing I need to tell the migrant returnee survivors from Saudi, kindly, my number is online. If you have any issue, just reach out to me and see how we can help each other. If your daughter went out there and maybe she died and came back and maybe she can't even help herself, and we have those organizations who are ready to help, who are ready to stand up with survivors. Yes, the government, they are telling us there's money for survivors for human trafficking, but a person like me have never seen even a cent. So kindly, if you're out there and you need help, just reach out to me and I will be able, and I will see how we can help come together and make a better society together. So don't suffer alone. Faith is here.
Don't suffer alone. Faith is here. Pasil is here too. And I can see we just got joined again by one of a Kenyan girl, very young, who is talking of she's just about to join the job market. However, I'd like to hear from her own mouth. Hey, Masi, how are you? Can you hear us? Can you hear me? Okay, looks like she's dropped off the conversation. This conversation actually needs some balls, Faith, and I know you agree with me. It really needs some balls, and
100%.
I want to hail you for the courage that you've had over the years, to talk about it, because I'm hoping that through you, many other Kenyan girls, many other young Kenyans can learn from your experience. Thank you so much for your time, Faith, and I hope we can catch up again later, sooner. But don't forget to always, watch Globe Traction, because we are there, for issues affecting the globe, for issues that are happening across the globe. So make sure you follow us and tune in to KTN News every Saturday, 8:30 p.m. for episodes from across the globe. Many thanks for your time, Faith, and I hope we can catch up with you again soon. Bye-bye for now. And to our viewers online, I can't thank you enough. Merci beaucoup for your time, whichever part of the world, the globe you're watching us from, and let us know what it is that you'd like us to bring you next Saturday. Bye-bye for now.